Okay, so last night I finished watching the Goat movie, and as is increasingly common now, I've had some thoughts that I would like to share about that. Technically, it was my rewatch because I watched it the first time and then realized that I wanted to talk about it, and so I had to rewatch it to record it. So yeah, I've seen it twice now. It is a very good movie. Yeah, so if you're looking for like recommendation or not, it is very good. It is my favorite sports movie I've ever seen. I don't tend to watch a lot of sports movies for the same reason that I don't tend to watch actual sports, in that I would rather be playing the sport than watching someone else play it. Even if I am very bad at most of them, aside from volleyball and tennis that I'm actually decent at. Not amazing, but you know. Anyway, so this movie, so Goat movie, for the quick rundown, obviously, is about Will Harris, this little goat who wants to become a rorball player. Also, side note, I kept thinking it was called Warball for some reason. I don't know. The movie opens with him going with his mom to see a billboard of his favorite player, Jet Fillmore, and then her surprising him with the fact that she actually has tickets for them to see the actual game, which is so adorable. There's so much love here, it's amazing. He gets so into it, he decides he wants to play it. And then smash cut to 10 years later, his mom is dead of insert illness here, and Will is training his body to try to become a better rorball player, and just living in this teeny tiny little apartment owned by this, I want to say gerbil, I'm not sure, with like 8,000 kids. He works at the same diner that his mom did. He is very behind on rent, hasn't paid his landlord in literal months. The diner is actually like a sort of a community hub for fans of Jet Fillmore's team, the Vine and Thorns. And the owner Carol is such a huge fan that she threatens to cut a guy off pie for talking shit about them. And then she does, and he doesn't get his pie back until later in the movie. And he hates them because they broke his heart. It's a whole thing. He's a delivery boy, he doesn't make much money, he spends time with his friends, he's training for Warball, he's very good. No, again, not Warball, fuck, Rorball. He's a very skilled player, you can see it in him actually practicing and also how he delivers by shooting hoops, essentially. It's great. And while he's practicing, the local bully Grizz comes along and kicks him out because apparently there is prejudice against smaller animals, which is fairly unique actually. Normally, when it comes to, you know, animal people in animation, it's all about the predator-prey dynamic and not about like actual body size, which is interesting because the entire thing is the idea that smalls, as they call people Will's size, though technically he's a medium, goats are not really small animals, just can't play. They can't ball, they can't score, whatever. So, you know, there's prejudice there. And one of the general themes of the movie is that skill should be the deciding factor, not, you know, what you are or where you come from. And Rorball is actually very interesting because it's entirely a co-ed sport, which you really don't see in anything ever. Like, there's no separation, men's, women's team. The single greatest player in history and Will's idol is a woman, and he's never, like, told that he should be idolizing a man at all. It's honestly really cool. It's refreshing. But it's also extremely dangerous, like there's falling stalactites and magma, and like they play in a frozen lake at one point. It's crazy. It's the kind of thing that could only happen in animation. It's really fun. But yeah, Will is told that he can't play, and it cuts to his idol, Jet Fillmore, who, despite being like the actual best player, like there's basically no debate that she is, in technical terms, the most skilled and best player, who despite all that, has just not won a single game in quite some time. And that fact is really getting to her. She is a kind of a massive bitch about it, which I mean is partially understandable, but you know, she takes it out on the people around her, she takes it out on her teammates kind of, and I'll talk about her later. But she goes to the team owner and tells her that we need a new player, I don't care what it takes. And then smash cut to Will trying to get the money for his landlord by selling this old pair of collector's shoes, and then he takes that money and puts it up as a bet so he can try playing against the main attraction. I'm just going to call him Main from now on, who is the star player for a rival team. I mean, I say rival, but the Thorns kind of suck so bad that they don't have rivals. And Main is a massive cunt, but I'll come back to him later. He scores twice, accidentally breaks the Main's ankle. People get that on camera, then the Main kind of destroys him. And he doesn't have the money, and his landlord rents out the room like he said he was going to, and he's homeless, so he goes to live with his two friends. Daryl the capybara and Hannah the aardwolf. And I gotta say, these three are kind of the best part of the movie together. They are such obviously good friends and they are so supportive of each other and it's really cute. And they're just massive fucking dorks. It's great. Also, you like never see aardwolves in anything. It's honestly really cool. And they had been recording the match with Maine, and Hannah turned it into a meme video, and it got the attention of Flo. That's the name of the team manager, who is a sleazy bitch and kind of great. And Flo signs him on, and then things are great forever, but not really, because the moment Jet finds out that Flo signed a goat, she is livid. She fucking throws a tantrum and just, it's not a wonderful transition period, I'll give you that. Obviously there's tension as Will doesn't fit in with the team at first, and no one seems to like him, and he doesn't get to play at all, he's sidelined all the time, until a game where Jet gets taken out on a foul because the refs have it out for her. I mean, really, they do. They obviously do. They're assholes. And Will gets put in, and finally gets to show off his skills and his teamwork, and they win their first game in so long, and the team kind of starts welcoming in there. They play a card game. I think it's poker. Not Jet though, she stays out of it because the rest of the team don't really want her around for their one nice thing because she is, again, kind of a bitch. And it kind of comes to a head when they're shooting a promo for the team and Jet is supposed to symbolically pass the torch on to Will, and she just refuses to because she takes it so personally, the idea that she should be passing on the torch, that she should be that she should just not be a player anymore, that it's Will's time. And there's a fight, and then he falls her out because he felt bad about it, and then they kind of bond, running from the police. Well, kind of the police, more of like, you know, guards, whatever. And he takes her back to the diner because he realizes she could use a reminder that people actually do care about her. And she talks with her fans, and she gets a little creeped out by some of them, but for the most part it's a really lovely scene. And she finally warms up to Will and starts letting him in on the team, and they start actually like being a team for the first time ever, and it's an immediate improvement. It's great. They start winning. Every single character is like improving personally as well as just like professionally, and you really get to see them coming into this sort of found family dynamic. And then it all goes wrong when they're in the middle of a game and Flo calls Jet aside to tell her that she sold the team, and the stress of this, along with Flo calling her a washed up has-been who will never win anything and pointing out that her body is kind of broken, causes her to start backsliding on her character arc, and she starts abusing the team, and she essentially goes full rage mode, and she wins them the match, but at the cost of, you know, their entire growing dynamic. And the team falls apart. It's the whole darkest hour thing. She goes and finds Will and talks to him and apologizes and explains, and then they get the team back together, and they go and face the final match against Maine. Well, Maine's team, you know, the Magmas. And in that match, they're doing really well, and Maine starts playing dirty. And Jet takes a blow for Will that basically cripples her, or puts her in danger of being crippled, and she's told that if she puts any more weight on it, she's going to be taken out of the game permanently. And then with her out of the game, Maine takes it as a go to be even worse to Will because he holds a grudge against him for publicly humiliating him. Archie the Rhino gets pissed off at him and charges, and then gets taken out on a foul, and then because that means they would be down to just 4 players, Jet pretends she's fine to get back in the game so they can fool people and win that and score that just one more point. And it just ends up being this incredibly tense showing of all of their skills as a team together as they finally make that hoop. Will gets the final shot in, and they win the championship. And Jet gets her dream of, like, you know, winning a claw, which is, you know, the big trophy. I don't know what the real world equivalent of that would be. And the movie ends with them talking to Vineland and thanking them for their support. And then Moto reveals that he won the team's contract in a poker game, which was fucking hilarious. And they're all together, and that's how that goes. So yeah, it's a really good movie. I really like it. There's a lot about this movie that got me thinking about things. And the first of which is, it's really, really cool to see an animated movie where the vast, vast majority of the cast, including the main character, Will, by the way, are all black-coded. Like, that's incredible. You almost never see that. Like, you almost never even see, like, an all-black cast IRL, let alone in animated series. And they're all like very, very obviously black coded too, with the exception of Olivia. I mean, I could just have been missing some coding there because she has the blonde hair buns and an Irish accent. But it is very, very clear that this is a movie about black excellence and community and all these things, and it's a very black experience, and it's, you know, a lot of very black characters, and it's so cool to finally see something like that, especially in an animated movie, where it's always just sort of, I mean, this is true for like all movies for the most part, but it's sort of taken as just natural that characters should just be coded as white, and by coded white I mean lacking in signifiers of actual culture or race. White is not a culture or a race in the way that black is, or in the way that being Irish or Swedish or, you know, any actual cultural background is. White is not that. It is just the absence of something else. Which is also why, by the way, a lot of the time in fantasy movies, humans have no culture. They need to be coded as essentially blank slate, so the presumed white audience can project onto them. That's the entire point behind that. It's why humans are also the most boring fucking race in everything they're in. But like I said, here we have a cast that is very, very obviously mainly black coded, and that's really cool. It's something that more kids should be able to see. There's also been apparently some tension in the fandom with some people headcanoning or interpreting or reinterpreting a lot of the characters as white, which is, I gotta say, really fucking stupid. Like, here's the thing, I'm the kind of person who at one point needed someone to point out that Garnet and Bismuth from Steven Universe were black coded because just wasn't something I paid attention to at the time. I was kind of dumb that way. And even I could tell, like, from my first watch of this, that the characters were black coded. And part of that is that I've just gotten better at this. You know, since I started my YouTube channel, I have, you know, gotten better at analyzing things, paying attention to things. You know, I went to college since first watching Steven Universe, so, you know, there was a lot of knowledge and growth and, you know, all that stuff happening. But in a movie like this, where it's very, very, very obvious, and, like, the creators have been very open about this too, it's weird that a lot of people keep trying to interpret Will as being, like, white-coded when he's very clearly not. And like, there's a list of reasons why people try to interpret him this way. They make excuses, and I'm not going to go into it because it's really not my place to make this kind of argument, really. I will instead link to a Tumblr post by Blackfilmmakers because they go into it in a way that I found very, very educational and enlightening. But like, I'm sensing this really weird desire from some people to turn it into a white savior movie by making Will white. Which goes to show how much I need to, you know, educate myself on things, because I had kind of assumed that we all just collectively agreed that white savior movies are fucking awful. And I don't want to go into it much further because, like I said, you should read the thing that I'm going to link down below, but I will say that if you are someone who needs a character to be white for you to relate to them at all, then you are a self-centered dipshit. And the solution is to fucking get over yourself. If you seriously need a character to superficially resemble you for you to relate to them, then the problem is not with the black cast, the problem is with you. Because this movie is doing a good thing by having its cast be largely coded black. It's cool and great that the characters are black coded, and very obviously so, and more movies should do that. It should be more normal to have a variety of black coded characters with different expressions of that blackness in movies with non-human characters, and have it be respectful. Which is something I think you'll only disagree with if you're one of those weirdos who thinks that, you know, having a single black character in anything at all is a symbol of the downfall of Western society. Again, read the Tumblr post that I'll link to below if you want more stuff on all that, because I very much do not want to accidentally put my foot in my mouth trying to explain black coding in this unscripted video when you can just directly read the words of someone who is black and does have that experience talking about it. Speaking of the characters though, this movie has a lot of really great characters. Obviously my favorite is Modo because he is a kooky weirdo and very, very fun. But this movie is just full of such likable and like well-made characters. It's really cool. Like, Will is such a great main character. Like, he's so driven by this pure love for the sport and for his home. Like, he's also very smart and sensitive and funny. Like, he's great with kids. You see that multiple times. And he's also, like, just what the Thorns needed, because he brings an enthusiasm and love for the sport that they've all forgotten due to everything that's going on with them, that brings them out of their own heads and out of their own self-interest to really make them a team. It's really great. It's also really cool to see just how skilled he is, and, you know, to see him becoming a champion in a way that people assumed he couldn't because he was a small. His friends are great, his mom is so good for the little amount of time she has on screen. Like, everyone at the diner is really funny. The team is great too, as you get to know them. Jet is also really fun. I didn't like her at first, I will admit, but I don't think you're supposed to. I think she's very much supposed to be a don't meet your heroes kind of thing. But I really like her arc of having to, like, relinquish control and start to trust other people, and she does, you know, eventually get there. It's great. Jet is such an interesting character, because, like, while she's very angry, that anger itself is never portrayed as a bad thing, because, anger is not inherently bad. What is bad is how she treats other people. It's what you do with your emotions that matters, not, you know, that you have them. There are no inherently negative emotions, even if we call them that. It's so important that she's not treated as lesser for this anger, because you see plenty of other characters getting angry and being crazy, and it's really just how she treats other people and how she grows when she learns to, you know, stop being so obsessively, like, death grip controlling on everything that is the basis of her character arc. Like, she's so fucking obsessed with control that she won't even let the coach be the coach until halfway through the movie. And the moment she does, the team immediately improves. Each member of the team is a problem in their own right, in how they are all stuck in their own heads and kind of consumed by self-centeredness in a way. Olivia is too obsessed with how people in social media talk about her. Lenny is sulky and closed off because of how other teams have treated him. Archie is too distracted by his daughters to really be the provider they need by acting on this team. Like, he's a loving father and it's great. He just needs to also, like, get his head in the game and focus on helping his teammates. And again, Moto is just a kooky weirdo who eventually starts to kook in the right direction, I suppose. I'm not sure how to describe it. Moto's so fucking funny. In the promo, he's like, I make you feel weird and you don't know why. But looking at the online reaction, it's not that he makes people feel weird, it's that he makes them feel horny. Like, the thirst for this lizard man is just off the charts sometimes. It's so fucking funny to me. Also, he's like the only character who has fans who are actively thirsting for him. Like, like he has these two fans that pop up like twice. It's one guy and one girl, and the girl's like, marry me, and the guy's like, no, marry me, and it's really funny. Bi icon right there, Moto. Moto is such an icon, and even outside of the main cast, like, it's a really, really good, just all around. Like, Hannah and Daryl are just so funny, and their relationship with Will is so supportive and cute, it's great. And, like, Flo is so delightfully sleazy. I hate her so much. Maine is so amazingly hateable from the moment you meet him. It actually wasn't until my second watch through that I realized he was the face on the crypto scam ad that Will showed the most absolute disdain for, which gave me life. I love when characters are obviously not stupid and looking at crypto scams with undisguised contempt is beautiful. The coach Dennis is really funny because, like, the moment he's actually given, like, the coach whistle, he goes full apeshit mode and just immediately improves everything. Like, he understands what everyone needs, and it's not until Jet fucking lets him do his job that the Thorns actively start improving, because, you know, he's a good coach and he wasn't being allowed to do his job. So there we go. Yeah, like I said, each and every member of the Thorns, aside from Will, had these personal issues they were just not getting over. But Jet really was the main problem. Like, you can see why she got to the point she did. It was a very long time of just, you know, failure after failure to live up to her potential. The ticking clock of her breaking down body, because all sports are incredibly strenuous, but this one especially. And the fact that the public and the news are just kind of shitting on her all the time. It's all these things combined that, like, you can understand why she is the way she is, why she's at this point, but it is not an excuse. It is not an excuse to be this kind of asshole to her teammates and to other people. And that's something she has to learn. She has to learn to be a team player. Because it really doesn't matter how skilled you are as an individual if you cannot be a team player in a team sport. And this is also why she has the most satisfying character arc, because as she does learn that and improve, you see an improvement in her life as well. It's not just the team. She is noticeably happier. Everyone is noticeably happier because they're not doing this alone. At the start of the movie, the Thorns are not so much a team as they are just people playing against the same opponent. But by the end of the movie, they are legitimately a cohesive unit. And this is also what makes main attraction kind of a dark reflection of Jet, because they are considered the best players in the game. Main is considered essentially the new Jet. Jet is the actual best, etc., etc. They both know they're very, very skilled. And you can see a lot of parallels between them. But whereas Jet, you know, improves where she learns her lesson and starts to let people in, it's very clear that Main is a fucking asshole and will not change. Main is a bully, and I really don't like him. I wish they set more of his head on fire. But like, you can see it in like his own team, how they panic and run away, obviously scared, and cower when he's like throwing a tantrum, how he grabs them and abuses them, how he screams at them. It's in the way he treats Will and other people, because he is an asshole and he is a fucking bully. And you can tell he's a bully because anytime someone steps up to his level, he cannot cope with it. He falters or loses his shit the moment anyone is, you know, even remotely on his level. He just has to keep punching down, which is why he keeps targeting Will, and which is why the moment that Jet, you know, calls him on that live stream and makes fun of him, he starts to break apart because he can't handle it. He can only dish it out. And you're meant to see that this is what Jet could have been. It is what she was becoming, because the rest of the team doesn't like her at the start. They openly state that they don't want her in the poker game because it would ruin what little good they have. Because she only sees them as getting in the way of her glory. And again, it's a very personal glory she's obsessed with. Like, she has to be the one winning, she has to be the one scoring, she has to be the one to hold the ball always. Like, they have to basically spray ball train her to pass the ball, which is, you know, very funny, but it's also, you know, very in character for her. Main is essentially what Jet was in danger of becoming and was already kind of doing. But she, you know, changes and grows. And that's why she's, you know, got the best character arc. But that also ties into what I really wanted to talk about with this movie, and that's the theme of community. All sports movies have that whole teamwork theme, you know, it's pretty standard. But GOAT goes one step beyond to posit that community is what's really, really important. And that is essentially what the movie is about. GOAT really wants you to understand that community is very, very important. Will has essentially been raised by the community of Vineland. He openly states that they came together for him. He's given a job by his mom's boss. His landlord is extremely lenient with him and only really kicks him out when it's made clear that he cannot pay him at all. And Will doesn't even hold this against him. He even pays him back later because, you know, he owed him money and he understood that it was not out of cruelty, it was out of necessity. And Will brings that important sense of community to the Thorns. He's the one who starts bringing them together again. He is the one who shows Jet that, you know, Vineland is behind her in the same way that it was behind him. It's very important that people realize that they're not alone in this. That is kind of the point of community. It is to show you that even if it's not financially, there is still support for you. And people really, really, really need community. It is kind of a basic, fundamental need that all people have. This is kind of the secondary point of religion, actually, to have a community. And it's kind of the entire, and it's kind of, from what I understand, a huge part of the pull of cults. This idea that it is where you belong. Like, there's a very good reason that cults are often filled up with marginalized and vulnerable people, and it's because it offers the idea of safety and community. And we see the community coming through for Will and the Thorns time and time again through the movie, and it's really, really good. It's an important theme to remember. It actually reminded me of, I was recently playing my way through People of Note. It's a really good game, you should give it a try. And the game has different countries based around different music genres, it's that sort of thing. But the kingdom of, I think it's called Lyre, it was the rap kingdom. In their main city, the Queen sponsors a weekly block party and people are just allowed to go there and take food and be social. And it really stuck out to me, not just because, you know, the idea of a state-sponsored community-free meal is awesome, but because when you get to it, you can find these two NPCs talking, and one says to the other that other cities don't have the whole block party thing, and the other one replies with, "I don't understand. Don't they understand the need for a viable public third place not gated by economic status?" And yeah, people do need that. And it's something that the movie made me come back to in my head because, okay, I know it can be hard to tell because of the accent sometimes, but I do live in America, and yes, it does suck here. But in America, since the 1970s about, block parties have kind of been, I don't want to say stereotypically, but generally associated with black communities. And from what I understand, while they can have other uses such as, you know, protest or celebrating certain things, the idea behind a block party is to provide an opportunity for residents to engage in building a shared sense of community. It's to share food and enjoy music in public spaces and to socialize and to essentially remind people that they are part of a community and that we are in this together, or that we should start to consider ourselves in this together if we want to get through this whole life thing with minimal suckage. And so yeah, I think reminding people of community and the importance therein is a really good theme, and I'm really glad the movie had it. Okay, was there anything else? Oh yes. This movie has a really great sense of visual humor, and a lot of that humor comes down to the characters acting like animals. It was actually really impressive how often the characters would actually start moving like animals. So it was always really funny to see like Jet angrily drinking from a bowl of water like a cat would, or just things like that. And another thing I really liked was that the animators did not feel the need to make the female characters stereotypically feminine in that weird way that people keep doing with animal characters, where they will give feminine characters like notable curves and boobs for some reason. It's always really bothered me because, like, that's just not how animals are shaped, and it's always very clear that they're doing this out of some weird gender essentialist bullshit, because there are so many ways to communicate gender through design that do not come down to an hourglass figure and breasts. And it bugs me so much when they do that, when they make all the female characters like uniformly feminine like that, but then all the male characters can be as like diverse as possible. Like, it's such lazy character design to do that. Like, if you're gonna do that with the girls, the very least you can do is give the boys noticeable bulges and fully commit to being uniformly lazy in this way. Like, either commit to the bit or just admit that you're weird about women. But the movie doesn't do that. All the characters are shaped like they're actual animals, and femininity is displayed through secondary features like fashion, voice, or just, you know, you're told because they are referred to in the feminine, and that is good. Also, I really liked how casually gay this movie was sometimes. Like, Moto had his male fan, Hannah shows open attraction to both Main and Jet, and at one point the kiss cam has like 2 male giraffes. It's kind of just really neat. Also, apparently, like, Will and Moto are the most popular ship from what I've seen. Like, I saw a TikTok the other day where someone was, like, trying to convince you that Moto was attempting to court Will through his actions, which I don't believe, but I will accept as headcanon because I think it's very funny. And honestly, with the main cast, like, none of them have their sexuality stated or even hinted at any point that I could see. You could really make the argument for any of them being anything and I'd accept it. The movie was bereft of romantic subplots and I appreciated that. So yeah, it was a really fun movie, I really liked it, it's my new favourite sports movie. And you should watch it if you haven't. And also play People of Note, it's really, really good. So yeah, those are my unscripted thoughts on GOAT. I hope you enjoyed this ramble, and I will see you sometime in the near future for an actual proper video. Okay, bye.